Good afternoon, all. Hope you had a good lunch. Normally, the food and fruit that end up onto your dining table is easily available in your store next door. But in many cases, it travels thousands of miles across the globe. And since it is temperature sensitive cargo, it needs to be transported in specialized boxes. We call them refrigerated containers. At Maersk, at this moment, we are carrying 200,000 such containers across the globe. They may be on a train, truck, in a terminal, or standing on a big ship across the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean. There would be around more than 400 different types of commodities. It would be blood plasma, it would be food, fruits, medicines, and so on. And we need to maintain 4,000 different temperature settings. It's not an easy task. When you order a Nike pair of shoes or toys for your kids, many of the times you track these shipments to ensure that you're home and you can plan for it. We as Maersk shipped 6 million promises last year, and when we talk to our customers, the visibility is one of the most important things that they need. Where is my container or cargo? When it's going to arrive? And why it is so late? Or why it has not come? When these big ships dock on a terminal, the large cranes help to disembark the containers and then load the containers again. These cranes, when they stop, it affects the processing and the operations on the terminal. We lose a lot of production hours on the terminals. We spend millions of person hours in doing the maintenance and repair on these big assets in our terminals. When the container reaches to its destination port, it ends up into a distribution center where the doors are opened, the cargo is taken out, it's in a pallet, could be in a box, and then it is stored in a warehouse. The operations in the warehouse are complex. A very simple operation of stock counting could be very, very complex because the person needs to go 3-4 tiers up on a ladder, on a forklift, or on an MHE truck to do the stock counting through barcode reading and so on. It's not easy. So when we think about the global supply chain and the global trade, these assets seems to be playing some role. And we were conscious about it when we started our digitization journey. We were focused on containers, terminals, vessels, and warehouses, more on the assets. We started our journey with the reefer boxes. We made them smart, around 400,000 reefer containers, and we were able to monitor them effectively. When we wanted to progress on that journey further, we started seeing some roadblocks. We were not seeing the same value as for the first use case. The second, third use case were not yielding that much of value. Then something good happened to us. Our organization changed its vision. The crux of it are two things. The customer became the center of everything that we do. And we started thinking end-to-end, all the way. The integrated end-to-end supply chain means that we think of supply chain right from the point where it starts. It could be a farm, it could be a factory floor, and goes all the way to the retail store or the superstore where you can buy the foods or other apparels. To ensure that we are able to digitize effectively our whole ecosystem, we needed to invert our context. The customer became centric to it. We have more than 100,000 customers. And to ensure that our digitization journey truly create value for our customer, we needed to think much broader. We needed to ensure that we are reliable and predictable to bring value. And we are also sustainable and secure to create empathy to the ecosystem that we have across our globe. We started working on a thought process where we wanted to start thinking more platform rather than more use cases and products. And for that, we were very, very sure that if we will build those platforms and capabilities, we will be able to enable the connected customers and connected supply chain. The value that will be for us would be more around the excellence that we will deliver, operations and financial excellence, but more importantly, we will be able to win the trust from our customers, and that will create value for them. It's not an easy task. We have to connect so many dots. It's a big ecosystem. The globe is huge. It's thousands of miles apart. One container travels from Costa Rica to Copenhagen or from Mexico to Asia, and ensuring that we can create an ecosystem where we can monitor and create the digitization solution across our assets and make them more integrated is a very, very complex task. Just in a nutshell, what does it mean? If we want to track the container, it's not only the container that tells us where I am by putting up a device or any kind of a smartness that we can bring to the container. But if it's in a terminal and it's picked up by a big crane and crane is taking a picture of it or doing an OCR reading, then we should be able to integrate that and create that end-to-end visibility. For that, our platform strategy need to be really thought through. It need to be modular. It need to leverage the cloud, and it should be able to leverage all the new capabilities that are available now. So we started on this journey of building that platform for us. From Internet of Things or digitization perspective, there are multiple layers in that ecosystem. You start all the way down from the assets, and you digitize the assets through putting sensors and connecting through controllers and so on. And then, the more importantly, you bring that data in, and you are able to process that data to create value. So this layered structure is referenced by many, many different architecture, ISA 95 in industrial context and so on. We use that to build our own reference architecture. This reference architecture enables a couple of things for us. It ensures we have an ecosystem to ingest the data from millions of devices seamlessly. And it could be from anywhere in the globe. It could be in the China, where we have a lot of constraints to bring data out onto the cloud. It could be well in Africa or Asia, where the connectivity seems to be a complex thing. So bringing the data in, and then ensuring that we are able to connect to those devices seamlessly. So provisioning the right level of security, ability to connect those devices seamlessly, and using the identity of these devices to ensure that they can easily roam on different networks. So we wanted to create a parallel capability to what your mobile phones have today. When you move from one country to another, they seamlessly connect to the different service providers. When our containers roam across the globe, they need to connect to different networks that are available. It could be the public LTE, it could be the private LTE, or it could be a wireless Wi-Fi solutions also. And the last, the leveraging the data. So using that data, how we seamlessly can build those use cases and products was the capability that we leveraged through this reference architecture. To give a bit of context onto this technology perspective, we leveraged the Azure platform, but we developed much more on top of it. We built the services for identity and access management. We built the capability to seamless process the millions of data points and integrate them together. So whether it is coming from one device or another device, whether the device is in a terminal or on a train, we can integrate all that data set together. So with all those capabilities, leveraging Azure, building those capabilities, we were able to build some use cases. Now that's what it matters. So what were we able to do? So Martha is one of our customers. She was frustrated because when she was shipping bananas with us, she was not able to sleep in the night. I don't meant it literally, but they have the challenges because thousands of shipments are in the journey. And when your cargo is in the journey and container breaks down, the bananas will get spoiled. And one shipment of banana could be thousands of dollars. We were able to build the reefer monitoring solutions on top of this platform seamlessly, ensuring that we are able to monitor those containers 24/7. We are able to do predictive analysis on the containers data so that we know when we are giving this container to the customer and they are stuffing bananas, avocados, blood plasma for that matter, these containers will not break down. And bringing that assurance and ability to track and monitor throughout the value chain is something that enabled Martha to sleep well. Martha doesn't need to call our customer service agent now. When she calls, most of the times it is for appreciation, or our customer service agents are proactive in ensuring that if something goes wrong, then we are able to optimize the supply chain in a way that we will be able to reroute, or we will be able to optimize the value from the shipment for the customer. Our terminals, there are big equipments that move all the time, and human life is very costly. But many times it happens that people come out of the truck and they just move around and they hit by a crane. It's not good. It's not something that happens every day. But even if it happens once a year, once 2 years, once 5 years, it's not good. We were able to leverage the same platform to build a safety solution which can process data from, in this particular use case, we use 60 cameras, but it is now being rolled out, and we can do it on hundreds of cameras, and we can process the live images to ensure that we are proactive in telling people or alarming the ecosystem in the terminal to ensure the safety of the people. In the terminals, the conveyor belts are very important. In the warehouses, the conveyor belts are very important because when the packages come in, they are processed on these large conveyor belts and they are moved onto the outgoing trucks and so on. If the conveyor belts is stopped, the operations in the warehouse get stopped. To bring more predictiveness into the operation, we analyzed that what is the problem, why these conveyor belts fail all the time. And we identified that these motors which are deployed on the conveyor belts fail. So we were able to again leverage the same platform by deploying some sensors onto these motors and doing the vibration and temperature analysis and bringing more reliability into the warehouse operations. We were able to build the digital twin for our terminals so that in real time we can see the whole operations of the terminals. We can see the containers loading on the big vessels or ships. We can see the trucks moving. They are taking the containers from the ship crane to the stacking yard. And we can see all the movement of all the people out there, which enables us to ensure that is there good productivity out there or not. Again, we leverage the same platform. We talked about the assurance that these conveyor belts don't fail. Now, there are multiple reasons why conveyor belts fail. So there are parcels full of chains or other equipments, and then they fall sometimes because the parcels are broken, and it also blocks the conveyor belt. So we were able to again build AI algorithms based on computer vision to monitor these boxes and route them, as we call it, on hospital lanes. That means these boxes are not good to proceed on the conveyor belt. They should rather move out of the conveyor belt. They should be fixed and then they can be put back onto the conveyor belt. Again, we were able to use the same platform. So as an organization, as Maersk, we were able to optimize on things on our terminals, things on our vessels, things on our containers. Are we done? Is our journey of digitization finished? Maybe not. So we are working on a capability where the customers can bring their own device and put it into each shipment. You talked about millions and billions of devices. In 1 year, we bring 6 million journeys of containers. And if we multiply it by 30, 40, 50 times, those number of pallets are inside. And if customer starts putting up those sensors inside the containers, we are talking about millions and millions of sensors just for one use case. And I can easily say that it will move to trillions in next couple of years. Everything from your watch to from any equipment in your house is going to be smart. And that's where the IoT is going to go. We are putting up sensors on our vessels to predict the fire. It's a very, very safety scenario where if the fire happens on the vessels, it's down in the big ocean, it affects a lot. It affects the human lives. It affects the precious cargo of our customers. And we are trying to ensure that through the use of technology, we are able to predict the fires much in advance. We are going beyond just monitoring the food and fruits that moves in our container. We are trying to give more capabilities to our customers. They will be able to monitor how the bananas are being transported, but they will also be able to control the ripening of banana. And it is just the beginning. Just think about the value chain. Today, there are different fruits and different type of fruits that are available locally in different parts of the world, which do not end up into other parts because there are transportation challenges. So capability to optimize the way we can transport these shipments will bring a lot more capabilities into the supply chain. And we will build the digital twin for our warehouses. We as Maersk, heavily investing into the warehouses. We have more than 500 warehouses today. I had 300 here. And it's because LF Logistics we have acquired recently takes us to 500. And it's a very great achievement for us as Maersk. Building these digital twin solutions will ensure that we are effectively creating the digital identity of every physical operations that is happening in our warehouses. And last but not the least, we will use the technology, and we are using the technology to enable sustainability in our global operations. And we can strongly say that our assets, we carry 20% of the world's cargo. Our assets are conveyor belt of the global trade. Thank you.
Just need a little audio here. There we go. Are there any questions that came in on Slido? Okay, then I have a question for you, because we had this session before. I don't know if you attended that one with Luna, that kept talking about data-driven future and how they are happy about the Google Cloud and all the tools you can get from there. How do you see the cloud coming in and helping with all this data at a massive scale, how that could help you to, for example, like optimize processes and all the stuff you didn't expect? Because one thing is surveillance, that something breaks or a fire, but there might also be some optimization there.
So Internet of Things or digitization use cases are very time sensitive and latency sensitive. We want to ensure that when the data is generated, it is processed and we receive the data as fast as possible. The cloud capabilities enables us to use the distributed capabilities of different cloud service providers to retrieve the data as fast as possible in the cloud. And that means that we can take actions in nanoseconds to make decisions. Today, we have the challenges that when we have our large terminals and warehouses, we need to deploy some solutions locally on those terminals and warehouses to ensure that decision making happens locally. But cloud would enable us to take it more into the global centric capability, and that will reduce cost for us. But apparently, it will centralize and standardize the solutions.
Okay. Without sounding very... Oh, there came some. Yeah, please. There's some questions. You can see them in front of you.
So the dry containers, we have around 3.5 million dry containers, and the visibility, as I mentioned, is one of the biggest challenge that our customers have. And in general, this is the biggest challenge the supply chain has. Maersk is trying to solve it from different perspective. So as I mentioned, we are not only relying on the devices that we put onto the containers, we are trying to use the ecosystems that is out there, using the ecosystem in the terminals, warehouses, trains, trucks, using the data service providers that are out there to source all that data. And we are also trialing new technologies. The biggest challenge with the dry container is that it doesn't have a power source, but definitely we will be there.
And there's another question.
Connectivity is a very big challenge. We have, if we think it purely from the vessel perspective, if we are in the deep waters, then using the satellite bandwidth is the key to ensure that we are able to make decisions. What we do, we use the edge capability so that all the decision making in many of the constrained connectivity scenarios can be done locally. And wherever we can leverage the connectivity solutions that are available locally, like on terminals, it could be private LTE. In warehouses, it could be Wi-Fi. We try to leverage that. And we are also using the public LTE solutions.
And 5G?
5G, we are so in our terminals we are implementing 5G private 5G solutions, which enables us to connect a lot of IoT devices for sure.
Makes sense. Thank you so much. We out of time, and yeah,
you
give
so
you a
much.
round of applause. I'll take this one. And thank you so much.